Thanks for turning out. We were talking at the weekend about today and commemorating today, and it was a situation we just couldn't allow to pass without some form of commemoration, which is why this has hastily been put together. Just a few things. 6th of June 1944 saw the launch of what was probably the greatest, and would be the greatest, sea and airborne invasion of mainland Europe. Over 5,000 ships, battleships, landing craft, auxiliary ships set sail from the shores of the UK. Servicemen and women from 13 different countries were involved. The morning of the 6th of June and the previous evening saw 24,000 airborne troops, paratroopers and gliders go into that northwest corner of France. Very soon thereafter they were followed by 156,000 soldiers who landed on the beaches that day over the 5 beaches. They were supported, say with those ships, just short of 200,000 Navy personnel in support. It's a massive, massive undertaking. The weather wasn't particularly kind, some of the wind blew them off course slightly, but the objective was to land, and they did land. And at the end of the day, the end of the first day, at the end of the 6th of June, confirmed Allied death was 4,414. German were totaled at around about 1,000. They can't be sure because they weren't sure as to the strength of the German support. And something in the region of 4,000 civilians were also killed as a result of the assault and the attacks. So it was a great loss of life, but a pivotal moment in then the Second World War. And whilst, as far as we're aware, none of the people named here were actually combatants or took part in the events of the 6th of June, I'm sure there are people here whose fathers, grandfathers, great uncles were part of that assault. I know from personal experience I worked with 2 such men when I was in the police. Sam Deniford, who his claim to fame, he didn't say too much about it, was that he was the youngest Royal Marine Commando to land on the beaches. And he didn't talk about it too much. He wouldn't talk about it too much. All he would say is that, well, he survived. And Bomber Richardson, a fantastic guy who was in the Royal Navy, who was on one of the assault ships, in charge of one of the assault ships. And he just said we were there to do what we could, although we were offshore. So that's why we're here this evening. 80th anniversary of the pivotal moment, probably, of the Second World War. Yesterday, the 5th of June, saw the 80th anniversary of another reasonably pivotal moment, which was the final capture of Rome as a result of the Battle of Anzio. But that sometimes gets overlooked as a result of the events of the 6th of June. But I know there is somebody here whose grandfather was part of the Anzio landings. So we'll remember them as well. Janna.
So we're just going to have a moment to pause and reflect on that day 80 years ago and to think about what that actually means for us today. As we remember those who faced danger and death in Normandy 80 years ago, give us courage to pursue what is right, the will to work with others, and strength to overcome tyranny and depression. We remember with thanksgiving and sorrow those whose lives had been given and taken away in war and conflicts, past and present, and in particular today, those of the D-Day landings. We pray for all who in bereavement, disability and pain continue to suffer the consequences of war, fighting and terror. As we pause and reflect on this anniversary, let us commit ourselves to work for reconciliation between the nations, that all people may live together in freedom, justice and peace.
We'll read a short poem and then we're going to get the last post, followed by a minute's silence. Upon the 6th of June, remember them with pride, men from many nations fighting together, side by side. Let us never forget their bravery and sacrifice. we may have our freedom because they paid for us.
We are sent into the world not to build walls but to dismantle barriers, not to load chains but liberate the oppressed, not to close doors but to welcome the stranger. May we live at peace with our neighbours, caring for those in need and building a stronger community for all. And his blessing be upon us and those we love and for whom we pray for this day and always. Thank you very much for joining us to mark this important occasion, and it's great that as a village we can represent those families and to continue to remember. I think the important thing, having read a few bits today, the importance of remembrance and that we learn from the lessons of the past. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.